You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
On this Nexxlegacy Radio AM Buzz, Mr. Christopher Williams.
Hey, what's happening, man?
How's it going, sir?
I'm good. Traveling.
Man, your ears must have been burning, man. We was saying a bunch of good things about you before you called in, sir.
Oh, good. That's a good thing.
Well, first off, I was just talking to one of your fans and your many fans that's out there listening, and we was playing. We played "Not Conditional," which was a single that I know was released in January, and just a lot of your classic tracks. And before I even start the Q&As, I know you have a beautiful daughter that I'm pretty sure you would love to say happy birthday to on the air. So I'll let you go ahead and do that first, sir.
Happy birthday to my grown-up daughter now, Sierra, 21. She's getting ready. Her mama's going to let her out the house. She's going to be doing her thing in the music industry soon.
Mama's going to let her out the house, huh?
Yeah, so happy birthday, Cece. I love you. And beginning of adulthood. Now pay some bills.
I hear you, man. Hey, 21, man, and hey, maybe off air you can probably give me some nice fatherly advice because I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I mean, you made it to 21, and you still and let's keep it real, you haven't aged a bit, man. I'm telling you. Over the last like 15, 20 years, man, you haven't aged a bit. So you still champion it. How do you do it? How do you do fatherhood and still maintain?
I mean, I'm aging, man. You just, you got to take it with a, grain of salt, man. Try to take it easy. And I used to stress out about a lot of things, but I just try to take it easy, and it is what it is. And, you just, like you said, at 21, I'm just happy me and my daughters are friends, and, we're able to communicate and grow every day. So, it's just the chain of life, man. So I'm learning in my adult life to take it easy. In my younger days, I didn't take it too easy.
Right. I got you. Well, see, that's always a good thing to know as far as that goes, because from a father to a father, we always want to try to do what's best for our children and still try to maintain our sanity at the same time. So it's always good to hear, man. It's always good to hear.
Yeah, you got to take time for yourself too.
Exactly.
Because those little people will run you like into the ground. They don't mean to, bless their heart, but they just, and it's the sign of the times, man. I mean, we were growing up, we didn't have, kid can turn on a computer and, everything's there. I want this, I want everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it now. I don't want to work for it. Why can't we just get it?
That is true, man. That is so true. Christopher Williams is our guest on the AM Buzz, and look, I've been a fan of yours for a while, so putting on a fan hat and not just asking typical Q&As. I try to make sure that I at least get enough that some of your fan base is really logged in. But you got so many people from different parts of the states and overseas and stuff like that. So after all this time, does it still, I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this question. Does it still humble you just knowing that you do have so many people out in Germany, Japan, of course, like I said, all the people out there, loyal supporters in the States that still vibe to and is checking for Christopher Williams in 2014?
Man, it's more than humbling. It's, sometimes it's just overwhelming that people just remember who you are, and that, this is like chapter 2, and just the response from radio and people like yourself has just been, receptive. And in January when we really leaked the single, it was really a leak to just see, what would happen, almost like a test leak. It's almost like showing up at a party that you weren't invited to, just to see if people would be like, oh, okay. And it wasn't where we didn't go all the way in, but this next single is something that we're gearing up for right now. We're also going to re-release Not Conditionals on remixes in order to, just boost up the interest in the airplay, because a lot of people did, the core Christopher Williams fans and supporters, which I want to thank you, really did jump on and play it anyway without, all the setup, all the record company stuff. But this one we're going to set up with a video. We're going to really go hard with it, set it up properly, not just let it leak out, and just see what happens. Chapter 2 is exciting. I got a lot of new music that's just like another level, I think, of where I've been vocally. I also have a gospel record coming out with Russ, with Sean McLemore and Wes Morgan and the Williams brothers, and it's really a cool record. It's really a love record. I mean, really, it's just about love. I mean, if you listen to it and you don't have a Christian mindset, you would just think you were listening to a record about love.
And it's in the vibe. And Chris, the vibe on it, I can just tell from the sound of your voice, is just 110% spiritual. So who's ever, doesn't really matter what's what. It's just gonna capture the soul, right?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. Whoever ears will hear it, and we're just hoping and just believing and praying that it's going to be pleasing to the soul, and just a supplement to what I'm doing in my Christopher life as far as coming back, because I'm a singer, I'm a soul singer. I don't really like to be called R&B singer, this singer. I just feel like I sing from my soul. That's why I call myself a soul singer, because I don't have any real setup or predetermination of where I'm going. I kind of just put my heart in it and see where it goes, and that's not always great, but sometimes it is.
Well, but you know what, Chris? I think, to me, if it's 100% genuine as an artist, I feel like a lot of your fan base is gonna relate to and appreciate it, because not to be cliche, but there's so many people out there looking for the next something, but always that next something is not always genuine. So they're looking for something that's not there. But excuse me, but when I feel it when it comes to a Christopher Williams record, and Not Conditional was one of those things. First word came to mind was soulful. So when you say soul singer, I get it. And not only that, like, I think there's a lot of people out there, man, woman, whatever. I think they're gonna gravitate to that, because it's not just soulful, but it's also personal in a lot of different ways, because we can feel how you sing. You know what I mean?
And just watching what Uncle Charlie and Elder Bards and Maxwell and some of the other guys coming back have done, it's going to be more challenging for me. It's been a little longer, and like Charlie, not as long as Charlie, but I mean, to just see what he did at his age and what El did at his age just inspired and encouraged me. Now I want to do it obviously my way. No one can be Charlie and no one can be El. As no one can be me, for better or for worse, not putting myself up or too high or too low, but just, people, when you're just saying that they're looking for the next thing, that's the sad thing about music sometimes, or anything in entertainment. Like, I'm sure in radio, people are like, I'm looking for the next this guy, Vaughn Harper, or the next this guy, and it's like, well, you keep looking for that, and you may not find the first Usher or the first Chris Brown. Now, of course, each one of these guys, we all have assimilated and looked at other artists in awe and said, man, I take that. Like, I mean, if I said I didn't have any Teddy or Marvin or Luther or even Michael Jackson, I'd be lying. I don't sound like Michael Jackson, but who hasn't listened to Michael Jackson and his music gone in your spirit and you've regurgitated it without even knowing it during normal life practices?
Yep.
So we all have been influenced by these greats, and they're always digging up too much and downing too much. I think it's just let someone be who they are and watch the journey, and if you like it, jump on board, and if you don't, then find somebody else who's more applicable to what you like.
Right, and that kind of brings me to this full circle thing that we have when it comes to the entertainment business today. I mean, obviously, and of course we know, Chris, it was massively different from when you first started out. I mean, I was just talking to my man online just right now, and we was talking about, like, the 90s was so diverse when it came to just, the urban culture and just in general. And it meant so much to us in a sense where everybody was winning. It was, that New Jack flavor everybody was talking about, and it was so important to the culture of everyone that liked good music. And here we are now where it's, I've heard things, Chris, where it's just like so many different people that's missing the creativity part of music these days. So how do you feel about just this whole new vibe that has resurfaced, not just in 2014, but let's go back a decade?
I love it. I mean, I love it, man. Like I said, music is always evolving. I think sometimes when people are always looking at and commenting on, everyone has an opinion, and that's fine.
Right.
But, when you look at the history of music, it's always evolving. You know what I mean? We have a lot of great young artists, and artists who have been around that I still think are great. I think Joe is phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of artists that are, still vibing. Joe Scott, and there's a lot of real artists who are really. Anthony Hamilton is phenomenal. Kim, Charlie, and these are people who are adults who are selling out. So we do see it. The problem is that I think we become so jaded in listening to what this. It's sort of like this matrix to the labels. The labels don't really mean anything.
I agree.
The songs and the bureaucracy behind pushing the songs is what means. No label would sign her down. Let's be honest. She was a soulful white woman who was too big, that doesn't fit the palette of sexy in America.
Right.
But her songs made her beautiful, and the belief that someone said, I can break a record without the bureaucracy and bullcrap of all of these labels that don't know their ass from their elbow. They're guessing, and they've been guessing for years. And if you don't believe me, well, why are there a lot of great artists who don't make records anymore?
It's true. It's true.
Like, why as blacks, we call ourselves, I found this ironic that BET had never been to Africa until a white company, Viacom, bought it.
That is true. Very true.
Wow. So we're so black. What's black in the king? We call ourselves black and proud, but we don't often find our supporting our ownership and really taking control. So what I'm saying is that are there great artists still? Yeah, like Sam White, and they're becoming colorless because soul is soul. And when it gets to somebody, whether you're Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, these people possess gifts from God that are soulful.
I agree.
And these things can't be taken away, and they're not, as much as record companies and Clive. One of the things that peeved me at Whitney's funeral was Clive Davis standing there trying to convince the world that Whitney needed his approval for a record to go out. This is Whitney Houston, 25 years, 50, like that didn't matter. Like, stop. Could you not be a record person in her death for 5 minutes?
That's true.
And it's bad enough you stand up there looking like a 170-year-old stuffed demonic mannequin. How can you hear anything? You're 170 years old. And you're going to tell, you want me to believe that you're telling Whitney Houston that wasn't her problem.
Right.
Her problem was just what you said. She had become so inundated in pleasing this industry, what people think.
Right.
Do I fit? Do I work? Same thing with poor Michael Jackson. To the point where you get people in a mindset where they're spending $39,000 to die for 4 minutes, twice and three times a week. What's beautiful about that? What's beautiful in life about that? So success and all that stuff is what breeds that. Then I just want to make music. And however I can, I don't like to use the word control, but help manifest it in a comfortable, moral way where my fans can get it and I can give it to them organically and feel good about it, then that's the way for Christopher Williams it'll go. And if not, then, we'll share memories about the 90s and Nino stabbing me, and we'll laugh about it, and I can be good about life, because it ain't that serious to me.
I hear you. Christopher Williams is our guest on Nexxlegacy Radio.
Oh, my God, music is dying. No, music isn't dying. You know what's dying? Our belief to invest in our own stuff. We sit around as artists and without, wanting people to wait on us and stuff, don't know what's going on with our business, and saying, well, why don't I have a deal? Why isn't this happening? Why do I keep go back getting deals, taking this little bit of money, entering into a slave deal, and them continuing to mess up or misguide or lead my record someplace it doesn't need to be? And the truth is, most of the people that are successful today, they have no creative input with the record company.
That's right.
I mean, do you think Charlie Wilson acts as the record company? Do they like There Goes My Baby?
No, he's in complete control over it.
Do you really think him and R. Kelly, and this is back to when Charlie first came back, so it wasn't like he was in the position he's in now, but do you really believe that him and R. Kelly said, I just want to ask you guys, do you like, hey girl, my name is Charlie, last name Wilson? I really care what you think, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Right. No, I mean, you're on point, because to me it's kind of like, I feel like, he has I feel like you as an artist have that leverage too. I feel like any artist really that has songs that will withstand the test of time, Chris, is going to survive, and you got, of course, legions of fans that still support you and is behind you 100%. But you're absolutely right when it comes to that. Everybody's looking for some validation from somebody, even social media. There's so many people on social media looking for validation, and you don't really need that. You start with yourself, and once you start with yourself, and you control your own house. Am I lying? You control your own house. And if you control your own house nowadays, I guess in a lot of ways, Chris, it's a blessing that, these labels are not what they once were, because it's giving you as an artist a chance to just take complete control.
And it's the label's own fault, because all this downloading stuff and all this sharing of intelligent music properties and sharing it intelligently and moralistically with the artists and getting out of the backwoods and the Fats Dominoes and Chubby Checker days. Prince laid the Grail down. This is one of the greatest entertainers that'll ever live.
Right.
Like, if you want to even speak biblically, Prince, Michael Jackson, and truthfully, right after Lucifer, they have to be right in that talent range. Because there aren't human beings who can do those kind of things normally that Prince and Michael Jackson and people like this can do. But again, Prince I respect so much because he's found balance and peace in his life as living his human life. Don't get me wrong, entertainment and success and all these things that we aspire to do through entertainment and media, they're great. It's fun. But when it becomes a deity to your life, it's like, that's not fun. Nothing can be fun. I don't care if you're addicted to gas fuel. That can't be fun. So being addicted to what
don't even sound fun,
demonic, so being addicted to what somebody who doesn't even know you, did not give you your gift, is trying to tell you how to manifest your livelihood and life, as if they really care, because they need to focus on taking care of their own life. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you won't meet people that you can work with and do have a facility or a craft or skill that coincides with what you need. But those things happen when there is a power of agreement, when two people are looking in each other's eyes and saying, I agree to this and we're moving forward together. Yep.
That's the move that I feel like hopefully people can be able to just kind of wake up and make their own decisions as far as that, instead of having other people do it. And I'm hoping that it can get to the point where it's meant for us to just do a lot of stuff independent, work with a lot of people, show that appreciation for one another, where it can just work and grow and get to the point where it's just all going to make sense on a music level. So hopefully we can get to that point. Hopefully,
and everybody's getting an awakening. I mean, thanks to guys like you, the 4 radio stations that are controlled by the Clear Channels, Radio Ones, I hope I can say that, but satellite radio has made them take a different appreciation, because you guys are pioneering radio all over again and saying, hey, you guys say we can't do this because you control the monopoly right now. But now, 10 years later, you ain't controlling the monopoly like you used to. And it's not to down radio stations. What I'm downing is the bureaucracy of unfairness towards artists, towards people in record labels and everything. I mean, you look at the wonderful people. I don't know how long you've been around, and I don't know why this is on my spirit to say this during the interview, but I mean, there's a lot of wonderful executives in the music business. They don't have any pension right now. They were involved in monster records. I mean, records that grossed $100 million. They don't have a pension. They don't have a pension.
They barely probably got a few dollars that they can put together, Chris.
Yeah, so they get
how
caught
the
in
game
the same
works.
cycle where they're trying to shoe shine and shuffle to figure out what they can attach themselves to get a check. Thus comes reality TV, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of materialism and stuff. I just try to balance it. It's just like with Housewives. I went on there and was like, they were saying we want you to sing, and I kind of knew when I went. I said, you know what? They're going to attack me. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be somebody.
Right.
Because, and again, even my wife just said, no, because I know Peter. She knew all those people. I've met them, but, nothing further than that. But the fact that they had never had a husband on the show who was ever famous. I mean, Cordell Stewart was famous in a sense, but unless you're a superstar football player, people don't really know who you are because they don't see you with your helmet off, number one. And two, he never really reached those heights, and he never had that sexual energy that I had in my younger days, which I, thank God still have from my lady fan. But,
there you go.
He never had that Keith Sweat, Albie Shore, Gerald Levert, Johnny Gill, Christopher Williams, 90s, that rush. Like, Bobby Brown, New Edition, Christopher, like that period was golden. I mean, especially to me, I'm biased, but that period was golden to me because I feel like those set of gentlemen that I just mentioned, for the most part, and of course there's others, like my dude Stokely sings for the blood of Jesus, super talented and conditioned. There are definitely others, and I haven't omitted people because they shouldn't be in, but I think I've mentioned Anthony and Maxwell and the people who I feel are still carrying the torch. And there's young people, Sam White, Chris Brown, and Trey are talented. People just have to understand they're young. What do you want them to do? They're young. What would you be doing at 24 with a ripped-up body, a hit record, and a couple of $1 million in the bank? Now, it doesn't mean that there's different levels to it, and Trey has conducted himself probably to people a little better than Breezy, but, people have to walk their path, man. And instead of always dogging people, I just wish sometimes we would just lift people up. And maybe if we don't, and then when you get to the point where you're just tired of them, they're getting on your nerves, don't pay attention. Just pray for them and throw it out there and leave it. Don't let it back in your cipher.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense, especially nowadays. And like you said, you brought up the reality shows.
And these
are
our kids, though. And these are truthfully our kids.
Right.
Like Chris Brown and Trey, those are our kids. Those are our little brothers. Those are our nephews. That's our future.
And Chris, and the thing that you said as far as just, what they have going on, we got to pray for these dudes and hope that they can just be able to find they true path. Because, I'm a grown-ass man who made hella mistakes, and I'm pretty sure you have too, and other people
we all have.
just as well. So, it's kind of one of those things where it's a reality check where we got to, hey, you know what, there's no one man above nobody because we've all fell down before. Let these people fall down and learn they path, and then once they get up and they can dust themselves off, they can just be able to be better people for it and because of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I also encourage people in this business who make contact with these people. It's funny, and I've walked this walk before, and I know other people who have been at bigger levels like Bobby Brown and Keith and even Al. I've seen this so much in my life where people talk about you, but then when the business gets around you, it's like, oh, Breezy, CB, yo, hey. They just become parasite instead of when the brother gives you an opportunity to say what's up or you're talking about something poignant, be honest. You don't have to be coarse or, kind of go out there too far, but just you can even say, brother, I'm praying for you because I know how gifted you are and I know what you're up against.
Yep.
Not everybody out here wants to see you fail, Chris. Not everybody out here wants to see you fail, Trey. And unlike, this is an industry that's also sad, unlike the NBA and other affluent entertainment business where we dog each other. We don't have no union. We don't have nothing. Prince told us about this years ago, but we don't pay attention. See, we just love the lights. We love the gifts, but we don't ever pay attention to the plan of the gift giver.
And when those street lights turn out or get blown out or for whatever reason it's just off, then people tend to walk away.
While them lights is on, they be off. I mean, how could you be Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston? I mean, these are gifted people. Like Whitney Houston's so gifted, everything she touched. When I think about Whitney's life, I think about a biblical character like Rachel or Esther. Because everything that girl touched became more than what it was before she got there.
Yep.
Yeah, every little girl probably aspires to be a model. Whitney got all the covers.
You're right.
Everybody who ever sang in church aspires to get a record or sing a record. Whitney changed cultures with her voice.
Yep.
White people didn't even see her as brown. They was like, she's just Whitney.
She's just Whitney. That's it. No color attached to it, nothing. You're right about that.
Asians, Russians, Czechoslovakian, I don't care what you are, Ukrainian, it doesn't matter. Yep. Hispanic, her voice and her gift from God changed cultures. But with all that going on and all those lights, you become so inundated, unfortunately, sometimes with the stuff, the things, and what people are saying. And you forget the
sometimes
simple
those.
things in life. So that's what I would tell people when you ask me the question. I didn't mean to go all around the track, but, man,
No, you good. You good.
It's about keeping it simple, man, and just not taking
And
yourself so seriously.
and one thing about you, Chris, I love the honesty and the passion that you have up front. And I was going to ask you. You mentioned reality shows early. I just want your opinion just about just. I mean, we talked about kind of like the state of music and how everything is. How do you feel about TV? Just in general. I mean, is it too much of everything as far as reality shows, or what?
I mean, honestly, in my little opinion, if you ask me, Christopher, I say it's not entertaining so much for me, but then that's really a small contradiction, because some of them are. Like, I watch Lockup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why. I feel sad usually after it's over, but I watch Lockup, maybe because I'm from the Bronx and a lot of my friends have gone that way, and I feel bad because I feel like such a fulfilled life it could have been, 20 years. And you see these stories, and just another thing I used to, when I was living in Virginia, I was part of a ministry at Mountain of Blessings Church in Richmond. My pastor, Dimitri Bradley, used to send me to prisons with his cousin Donald, who had spent time in prison. And again, this has always been just like a calling to me as my brothers to go in and share whatever I could, even if it was time or eating with him or playing some cards or domino. It just would always turn out to be a good time. So when I started seeing this, I was like, oh, wow, I find myself watching it. So I guess these reality things are kind of like, sort of like extensions of the computer, where you get to say, well, I'm into cooking, so I'll watch Chopped or Bobby Flaves or one of these. So there's like, it's becoming like the computer. They're like long infomercials of taste.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other reality that we're probably bringing up is the foolishness, the craziness, the ratchetness, the scripted TV that's like Housewives of Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop, where it's just
a lot of people don't know, Chris. A lot of that is scripted in a lot of ways.
Oh man, it's total buffoonery.
Yeah.
It's total. I mean, come on. Listen, how many times can somebody tell you you're engaged and I'm dating the African king with 6 carat? Well, where's he at? And why didn't Walter marry you? I mean, first of all, Walter don't even want to marry a chick. Let's keep it real and 100. Walter's just who you got to agree to come on to the show. But if people want to eat that and swallow it, and then people are like, no, Kenya's saying you put her hands on her. Listen, I'll smack your 8-year-old kid if he tries to approach my wife in an unsavory way. Period.
No doubt.
Whoever don't like
doubt.
that, tell Jesus, because that's the only person who's going to judge me for it.
But Chris, check it out.
Any man who's married and loves his wife is not going to let anyone approach his wife in a forceful. My wife wasn't approaching her; she was approaching my wife.
Right.
So if your 8-year-old son started running towards my wife to drop kick her, I'd have to stop her. Maybe not in the same manner because he's 8, but I'd be like, "Sure, you're bugging out. Don't do that. I'm gonna tell your father."
No doubt. No doubt, you're right. And Chris, like a lot of these people, they swear by it. Like once that episode is over, like they'll go to social media or they'll go to whoever's in earshot, and they will talk about it like it was just the hottest news and just real talk.
Like,
you know what I mean? And I don't get it.
Like, do you really believe Candy's mother doesn't like Todd that much? Now, I'm sure there could be some concern. I mean, let's look at all the topics. And then even at the reunion, I had to respect my little light-skinned brother Apollo because he was like, Kenya, I made you. Shut up. You better hope I don't go to jail because it was my story that made you somebody.
Right.
You sweat me every day of your life. That's her job. She's a sweat hound. You could ask any NBA, NFL, and anything that got an M or N in the front of it that involves sneaks or cleakers, sneakers or cleats. She knows about it, and they know about her.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're boxing, anybody from the 90s who was hot boxing or in any entertainment, athletic or anything, can tell you I'm not lying about the woman. So at 50, she's taking her last shot at morality, and I respect that. She's got to do that. She's a D actress at best.
Mm-hmm.
Her best film was a Menage a Trois movie that nobody even remembers the name to.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, and to give her props, dudes wanted to see the jump off. We did.
Right.
But that was back in the day. It's like, come on, man. Yep. Then you're twirling around portraying a slave.
Yep.
Do you realize the woman you're portraying was them portraying us as a slave?
Mhm.
Just
That
like
is
they
real.
like that's why, and you don't even realize you and her got a lot in common. They're putting you on camera because you're the modern day her.
Yep.
But you're not
Yep.
even acting. You're just acting out. Because at least to that woman's credit, whatever her name was, and not to discredit her or her family, God knows I'm not trying to, she did what she had to do to break it down for somebody coming behind her. Kenya, that's not your excuse. And she was actually acting. So the woman was going, oh, Mr. Bassett, oh, Mr. Butler, oh, Mrs. Butler, I'm so happy. Oh, but Kenya, you're the modern day that. You're just twirling around and making a fool of yourself, trying to go at people's husbands. And the sad part is women are entertained by this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
They
like
live
it's
by
sad
Chris.
to me that my brothers are entertained by watching it rain at a strip club.
Right.
I don't, again, me personally, I don't get that.
Right. I mean, it's to
Like,
a point, Chris, where it's just like when
about that?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the same thing. Took the words right out of my mouth. Don't understand that, just like I don't understand the women so passionate about just all this extracurricular nothing, which is really that's what it is when it comes to reality shows and how it's portrayed as far as the interactions. We all know it's scripted, but they're really, really diving into it, Chris, like the ladies. Like, I'm a single dude, so it's kind of like, and before I even, if you want to take it old school, I'm going to take a few calls because you got a lot of fans on here, by the way. So I'm going to take a few calls.
Cool.
But I want to ask you this, just a random, just something random. I was basically putting something out on Facebook as far as women proposing to men, like, and then, there was something on there, Chris, where a woman proposed to, her dude, and, he accepted, and everything was happy. I mean, to me, it was inspiring to see a woman really to a point where it's just like, you know what, forget it all. I'm going to just go ahead and ask and pop the question myself. But there was a lot of women that commented on that saying that, oh, she was thirsty. Oh, she shouldn't have done that. She should have waited. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you find it?
My thoughts.
What's your thoughts on it?
These are my thoughts. Those cliches that we talked about earlier, the old way of thinking, like if I could just find my better half or my other half, you better find your other whole. So if you are lucky enough to find a woman who's got herself together, where she's saying, you know what, I could boss up and propose to you because I'm a whole woman, like I'm secure. I could pay my mortgage or my rent. I got a good career. I'm happy, and I think you're the one, and I'm secure enough to say that. I don't feel vulnerable or thirsty or all these preconceived things because it's really happening inside of me. I'm really in this space. I'm really in love. And I feel like I can make a goal for the rest of my life. You're a good guy. What's wrong with that?
I don't see nothing wrong with it either. It's to me,
what's wrong with that?
It's inspired because you know what? That woman is invested in wanting to grow that relationship. So I don't see the problem. But there's a lot of other women that do, though.
And maybe your guy you're dating, and none of us are perfect, has some immaturity issues, maybe even some hang-up issue, because we all feel like, okay, if I hang it up, man, like I even experienced that on Housewives, but people don't realize me and my wife were in agreement because we realized who I was, and she was like, I don't want to jank that. I don't want to stop money from coming in. I don't want to do any of that. So I'm secure enough to be like, just say you're single. I know how we live every day. I know where you at every day.
Right.
But it got to the point where when I started getting to different seasons of my life, it got old even for me. So I was like, Housewives was a great way for me to say I could platform. Okay, this is my new blow-up because I'm on Housewives, so it's a big show. And then I was like, okay, I could platform my real life and tell my story finally. Like, I didn't really hit Halle Berry. I do have a kid with Stacey Dash. I am a good dad who struggled from a 20-year rock and roll career. In my 20s, me, Bobby Brown, and Albie Shore and Keith Sweat were hotter than fish grease. Like, I remember we couldn't even walk in a black mall anywhere. And those
without getting ripped and tore up, right? Like, it was that hectic.
Or just have a menu of appetizers put on your plate.
That is true.
Like, what are you feeling today? You want a little brown skin with donkey braids? You want a little butter flavor with light eyes? Yeah. You want a little chocolate with the butter silk chocolate? What you looking for? The India Irie? You want the what is it? What is it?
It was thrown out there like that. I mean,
do you like 2 or 3 scoops at the same time? What is it? What do you do?
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's just one of those things, Chris, where I just feel like, when it comes to that, like it was funny how women was just condemning the other woman for doing something she felt was 100% invested as far as to grow the relationship. I mean, there was a lot of hating going on, Chris. I was kind of surprised by that.
Maybe communicatively, she got to a point where she needed to communicate also. Like, I'm ready to get in the car and go somewhere. Like, where we are is beautiful, but she probably was feeling like, and maybe he never communicated that he didn't feel like that, but he could have just been unsure, maybe he makes less money.
Right.
It could be something simple as that, like I make less money and I want to wait till I advance a little more so I could get the ring she deserves because she makes more than I do. She might make 100, 200, 300,000 a year or whatever she makes.
And she probably just wound up beating him to it, and it was history after that.
He
so
said yes.
Right.
He said yes.
Yep.
I mean,
it's
sort of like when you look at Candy and Todd. Whose business is it if Candy marries him, falls in love, and gives him half of her fortune if it doesn't work out? If that's what she feels compelled to do, that's her business, and men have been doing it for years.
That's true. That is true.
Ask Steven Spielberg.
And the list goes on, and there's a hell of a lot more people out there too, Chris. You know it. That just wound up giving half. Here you go. Here's half. Let's go ahead and cut that down the middle.
Or even when it's not half, but it's $110 million. It's like, okay, sweetie, honestly, you weren't living like this before here. Not even close.
Exactly.
So you can still be comfortable down in the $1 million range, because that's about where you were when we got together. And you weren't there being generous.
Yep.
I mean, you weren't a bum, or you obviously had aspirations and goals, but let's be honest.
That's real. That is real. You want to take it old school, Chris? Take a few calls?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Christopher Williams is our guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And you can actually follow my man on Twitter right now at RealMenSingCW. And you can also hit him up on Facebook.com/Christopher Williams Official.
Or
let me go ahead.
Or you can hit me up on Instagram, Christopher Williams _BX, because I'm on there every day because my son makes me go on. So Christopher Williams _BX. That's the hotline.
His son makes me go on Instagram.
But go on all of them, because I like the different. It's different audiences on all of them, so it's actually fun. I'm actually getting into the whole viral thing now. I'm a dinosaur, but I'm getting into it.
Hey, I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, but let's go ahead and take a call or two. Let's take this one from my man from the 215 who's been patiently waiting for my man Christopher Williams. You live on Nexxlegacy Radio.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Cousin, it's me calling in to give you props.
Joey Parham.
Yes, indeed. I had to stop what I was doing, and I had to call in to give my cousin some props.
Thank you, my brother. How you doing, man?
I'm cool. I was listening to your conversation, and Chris and the host, I think this is like one of your greatest interviews, and like I told him, you're like the Phoenix rising. You're like fine wine, you get better and better and better. So I had to call in and give my props and everything. And I was loving everything that you said. It's like you gave the world a big dose of reality and truth, and that's what we all need to hear.
Well, thank you, man, and I'll send you them Prada shoes for that plug. But guys, I'm gonna send them white so you can come to the white party when I get up there.
Yes. That's probably, I'm gonna be there. But listen, I do want to say this in all honesty, and I'm not just saying this because Christopher is like my homie, my cousin. We go way back. Chris, and I was telling him about your performance in Miss Independent, how I was blown away, and that you still have your 21-year-old voice. And I mean, Chris is very, very down to earth, and the people love him, especially Philly. I mean, my Facebook page is going off about you because they're listening. Jaylene did say hi because she's tuned in too. Everybody's listening in Philly, Chris.
What's up, Philly? And Philly knows I love Philly. They love me, but I love them more. That's the first place I ever recorded in my whole career, Sigma Sound in Philly with Joe Levert and Nick Martinelli. True story.
Yes, Chris. Well, I don't want to hold you because I know there's other people that's trying to holler at you, Chris. I'm going to continue to listen. The host, thank you so much for having me on here. But I had to holler at my cousin though because he knows that that's my soul singer idol, and nobody can do it like Chris.
Thank you, cuz.
Yes.
One of the things about Chris, people, one of the more humble dudes you'll come across. You know what I'm saying? So just the vibe on the line is just tremendous. I mean, social media is just like real buzzing, which is fine. We need it to be like this. And while y'all at it, just make sure y'all go ahead and get Not Conditional, which is available. You can get it on Amazon, iTunes also. Let me take this caller from the 302. It's out there in Delaware, D.C. or something like that. You live on Nexxlegacy Radio with Christopher Williams.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Chris?
Yes.
Chris. Hey, it's
Yes.
Liz. How are you?
Hey,
How are
Liz.
you?
All my friends online. See, that's what happens when you get old. People who like your music just become your friends.
It is no longer fans no more. It's friends. Like, you know, all my friends, not fans no more, right? That whole name is retired.
Exactly.
That's right. We are friends for life. Isn't that correct, Chris?
What's up, Liz? You okay?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. You know, still
When are you coming back to show Delaware some more love?
I'm doing the white party in Camden. I think that's the closest I get to Delaware till the fall because we start Miss Independent back up and we'll be rehearsing. Well, you know, Priest will be we'll be right there in Delaware rehearsing.
All right. Well, you know, I'll see you, but do I get my birthday serenade at the white party?
Yeah, come to the white party. Let's hang out. Kazo's gonna come. Everybody's gonna come. It'll be fun. We're gonna hang out at the ballpark and just get it in, turn up a little bit.
Get it in, yeah. Well, I'm glad things are going well for you. We miss you.
Miss you too, Liz, and thank you, baby.
All right. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right, appreciate the call. Let's go ahead and take the night out there in the windy city of Chicago, mic'd up and on Nexxlegacy Radio with Christopher Williams. Denai, what's up, girl?
Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Christopher Williams. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so glad somebody that I don't know called. I was beginning to wonder.
Oh my God.
Hey Chris, we got a whole hell of a lot of people on the line, man. So you know the ones that called in early.
It's all good.
some of them maybe people you know, some of them you don't know. But the chat rooms and all that other stuff is going bananas, man. It's Christopher Williams Day. Need to make this a holiday, July 2nd.
Right.
I'm just saying, before Independence Day.
I'm down with that. I'm loving that one.
I think my daughter would be like, it's me and my daddy.
True that. Very true.
You know, they're not gonna let you off the hook. So, but how's Chicago? I know it's beautiful in Chicago. Summertime in Chicago is amazing.
Yeah, sometimes Chicago's pretty dope because we have a lot of festivals going on here. So we definitely got to get you to come out here and do some shows, that's for sure. Because we always need the phenomenal artists. So.
I would love to. I haven't been there since last summer, so I definitely would love to come back.
Yeah, maybe we can get you the taste or something because like they were talking about who's the taste this year, and I'm like, the only person I recognize is Janelle Monáe. Otherwise, I have no clue who any of those people are. So I'm just like, oh, we need to work on this. This is not going to work out.
Yeah, tell them to bring some taste to the taste.
I swear.
I love Janelle Monáe though. I love Janelle Monáe. She's another young artist that I really think is bomb.
Eccentric, creative, like, you know, those are some of the names, the things that come to mind when I think about Janelle, like,
and just,
you know.
And cute as a button. Just cute as a button. I mean, beautiful. She's a woman. I don't mean to say cute like she's just, you know, to me she's a little woman.
Cute like pat her on her head, cute, Chris? Is that not
she's
that.
She's a grown, beautiful woman. I didn't mean like that. It's just that her face, she just has a very striking face, and she can go from just as cute as a button to a beautiful, full-blown woman. But, you know, she's a young woman out of my range, and, you know, I just see as, you know, I see her as that. Sorry.
No doubt. No, you good. You good.
I think it's great that you've been in the business for so long and you still have remained so incredibly humble, and you know how many lives you touched, and so the fact that you are so able to reach out to your fans and you're calling your fans your friends is huge. I think a lot more artists need to look at that. I think a lot of the younger artists need to look at what the older artists are doing and get that kind of a mindset, because they get this whole thing where their head gets blown up and you can't even talk to them. But somebody that's been in the business as long as you have knows that the fans is what makes music go.
Yeah.
And
it's like
you fail.
these young people do have to get that. It's like any other thing you got to understand. It's like if you have a client and you work in an office and you see this client over 15, 16 years, after a while you kind of become like, wow, I've like watched your son grow up. Maybe not as your friend, but I literally do remember seeing that face and that picture in your office, and then years go by and it just continues, and you're like, the person's just not a colleague anymore, or just a fan or a music appreciator. They kind of become like an extension of your professional life.
Absolutely.
So, Denia, do me a favor. I need you to, if you're talking about wanting to get Chris down there, Christopher Williams, sir, how do they get a hold of booking for business people out there that want to book Christopher Williams in their events, venues, all that stuff?
You can hit me on Instagram, ChristopherWilliams_BX, or you can hit on Facebook, Booking CW, or you can call my manager, Lamont Hayes, or my agent, Adam, at Universal Attractions in New York, and it's all listed. Google, I know that's a little work, but as far as you, Janai, you could just call us. You got the link.
There you go.
You can call us.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Definitely.
There you go.
Because, we need some taste recommendations in Chicago, I swear.
But anybody who knows Chicago's Instagram, and tell them to get on Instagram and follow me, and we'll have some fun. Christopher Williams _BX from the Bronx.
Absolutely.
All right. Let me go ahead and take a couple more calls. It's Christopher Williams live on Nexxlegacy Radio. Let me take this caller from the 424. You are mic'd up and on with the man. Christopher Williams on Nexxlegacy Radio. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jay. What's up, Chris?
What's up, man?
Yeah, man, I got to ask you a question, man. I've been dying to ask you this, and I know you still was around. I seen you on TV One. I seen your little story. But, yeah, I seen some tapes, like some Death Row sessions with, like, Tupac, and it looked like you was in the session, like a Death Row session.
Yeah, I used to consult
Death Row
Row.
or Tupac? Huh?
Yeah, I consulted Death Row. People don't know that me and Eric B. from Eric B. and Rakim, we consulted Death Row through the whole thing. We were actually trying to start Death Row East, and Suge was trying to have me over the singing department. So even when Vivica Fox was married to the group 6ix9ine and them, I forget the name of the group, but Tupac was like my little brother, man. So Snoop, Pac, Dre, even before Dre left, we would all be in Can-Am Studios in the Valley in California, and that was really the home of the major home of Death Row when I got there. Now, I actually came at the as soon as Pac was released from jail, that's when Suge hired me. I saw him at an award event. He was like, man, what you been doing? And he always respected, my mental, my business acumen, and he was like, well, why are you not making records? And I was like, well, the business is changing right now. I had the incident with Uptown Records, and things are just a little weird. He said, well, why don't you come out to California? Never even said anything about working. He said, let me just fly out to Cali and sit down and chop it up with you. When I got there, I basically went from staying in a hotel. He got me an apartment, got me 3 or 4 cars within a week, and next thing I knew, I was consulting Death Row Records and working on new music at the same time. But when Pac got killed, everybody sort of, just dispersed, and things got funky and negative. So it wasn't enough for me to remain.
Yeah, that's a crazy story because I was watching the Death Row session. I thought I seen you, but I'm like, no, that's not Christopher Williams. Is that him in the session? Like, at Death Row? Because a lot of people don't know that. And it was in Can-Am, too. He was in the session. And,
that's what I was telling. That's what I was telling you earlier. Finally, this time I think around, I'll get to tell my whole story. I think everybody who's ever had a glimpse of me or liked any 1 or 2 things I've done has kind of gotten pieces, but don't really know the whole story. So it's one of the things I'm most excited about is being in control of it this time, is that I finally get to tell my whole story. I mean, my involvement with Faith Evans, if you read Faith Evans' book, I've been written about by Phyllis Hyman about my first recording sessions in my career, and those stories are just I mean, those stories are between me, Phyllis, Gerald Levert, and the people who were involved, and they were just amazing memories. You know what I mean? So I've had a long, amazing journey, man. So I have nothing to, be down about or pessimistic about. I've been blessed, man. I get to do what I love doing, and it hasn't always been gravy, but it's always good.
All right, man. Good looking, man. Good to hear that story, though, man, because a lot of people don't even know that, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I was down with
All
that.
right,
So that's actually, Suge Knight is my man, man. I wish him well.
Yeah.
We make choices in life, and sometimes we got to live with it. But I still pray for Suge and hope things are working out for him.
Yeah, because in the interview, and I didn't even know he was talking about you, but on the Death Row East, Pop did mention you, like Christopher Williams, all kinds of people, Freddie Fox, but I'm like, I wouldn't connect it to you from seeing the video. Okay, that's him.
Yeah. A lot of history attached to that, man. A lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of history.
All right.
Appreciate the call, bro. Let me take two more from my man Christopher Williams right here on Nexxlegacy Radio. Man, you got a lot of people. Again, if you want to hit up my man Chris on Instagram, what's the Instagram again, sir?
Christopher Williams _BX, like the Bronx, all lowercase. Christopher Williams _BX. Hit me up. Let's see what's popping on Instagram or Facebook. Real Men Sing. Well, not Facebook, Twitter. Excuse me. I'm not really on Facebook. We do have a Facebook, but it's full. And I try to encourage people to go to Twitter and Instagram because that's kind of like where we all moving to. All the old school people on Facebook. But it's all good old school. We still go on there and check you out.
Real Men Sing CW is the Twitter. I'm following this guy. Make sure you go ahead and do the same. Let's go ahead and take two more calls. Let's take this one from Sweet Aaron out there in Florida. Mic'd up and on Nexxlegacy Radio with Christopher Williams. What's up, young lady?
What's up, guys? Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm better now. Your voice gave me some more energy.
Well, thank you. Your voice gives me energy.
Well, that's good.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Do I dare ask what kind of energy you're... No, let me not ask that question.
No, we're on the daytime radio show. Hey, Chris, you want to call back in later on Branded After Dark? I'll let you know.
What part of Florida are you from?
Miami.
Oh, cool. I'm actually getting ready to move there because my daughter. Pray for my daughter, everybody, because my daughter was actually on her way to grad school. I have a 23-year-old and a 21-year-old. My daughter, Christiane, my older daughter, was on her way to grad school. I hate to dampen this moment, but since you brought up Miami, I just want everybody to please lift my daughter up in prayer. We lost her mother. My daughter was driving in a truck on the way to grad school with her mom, which I tried to get her mom to just let us ship the stuff out to San Jose where she was going to grad school. And tragically, we lost her mom and her life partner in the accident. And my daughter was thrown from the truck, and she's healing in the name of Jesus. She's good. But we lost her mom and her life partner, a woman named Christine, a wonderful woman, and just a tragic event. And it's been about 23 days now. But my daughter's on the road to recovering. We're actually now trying to get her back to her little sister who was in a coma. Is coming out of the coma. We're trying to get them back to Miami to get cleared so we can just take care of them closer to home. Their side of their family's there, and I'm actually going to move. I was in Atlanta actually here because I thought I was going to do some other business here in Housewives, but I decided I'm not going to stay in Atlanta, and I'm just going to move to Miami.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
prayers up, though. Prayers up.
Absolutely.
Um,
But now that I've just put the dark cloud over the interview, now let's get light again. So
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. But I'm glad that you're going to be moving here and sharing the sunshine with me. Just make sure you know how hot it gets here. I mean, I'm about to melt today.
I love Florida.
Oh, my
I love
goodness.
the heat.
Well, that means that I'm going to be able to see you live and come to shows now because you're going to do a lot down here because you'll be living here. Is that right?
Exactly.
See, look at that. See, you got people from different parts of the states, Chris, that just want to see you perform right now too. That's dope. That's dope.
That's amazing,
Definitely.
and I'm humble. And I'll be starting on my play productions down there now, so because normally where I'm staying
great.
is where I start, rehearsing and casting and workshopping some of the theater shows that we do.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
And don't forget, follow me on Instagram so I know who I spoke to today. Tell me you were the light and lively, woman.
When you see I am Sweet Aaron, that's me. So I'll follow you on Twitter and Instagram, and it's at I am Sweet Aaron.
And I'm Christopher Williams
_BX.
Yep. Don't forget, I'm not Chico DeBarge. I'm not Albie Shore. I'm not Shamar Moore.
That's right. You know what?
I'm not any of the other light-skinned dudes. I'm just little old me, Christopher Williams.
You can talk to me, sing to me all day long for the rest of my life. I know exactly who you are, okay?
Oh, my goodness. How's your credit? Now, we were talking about halves and holes earlier. So.
Hey, for real, huh? Chris, you crazy, man. I love it. I love it. Chris crazy.
She's like, hey, you ain't even answer either.
Here, stay. Let me take one more before we let this man go. Let's take this one from Kev's out there in Baltimore. He has a child group, Mac 4, and I'm pretty sure his wife's probably on the line as well. We got one of the first families of radio listening right here. Kev, what's going on?
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. We
What's
just like
happening?
to say hi before we get into rehearsal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What are you guys rehearsing for?
For the freedom fighters and rehearsal for the wedding.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. How you doing, sir?
How
I know
you
my
doing?
wife's going to say something. Remember now, you might have to sleep on the couch. Don't get too fresh now.
No, we ain't going to do that.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good.
Big fan of yours. I'm not going to say anything about New Jack City. I like when you point them out and say, yo, I knew that kid from somewhere. But I done watched that film about 200 times.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think it's kind of like thank you, man. I'm sure New Jack is like a TV show to us all now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ironically, we're trying to get Wesley to do the next one. We had a new crew, we're trying to get Lil Wayne and some of the young actors like Columbus Short and Lance Bass to be the new YMCB crew. And I actually come out of jail and connect with some Asians and Russians, and Nino Never Dies, and we got this living script that hopefully we can put together called I'm My Brother's Keeper, so you guys may get to see the next generation of New Jack City called I'm My Brother's Keeper.
Really? Okay. All right.
So me and Ice are on the same page. We're just trying to get Wes on the same page, but Wes is in Paris promoting the film he just shot, so he'll be back soon, and hopefully we can get this together, man, and we can try to make some history, man, and at the same time own the property this time.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. Hey, it ain't nothing better when you control the rights.
Sure.
Can we ask one question?
Sure.
What kind of advice can you give us when we're coming up into the music business?
Wow, to definitely understand that you in your heart love it, and it's not always going to love you back. It's not going to always appear to love you back in the way that you're loving it. And that's where you got to establish first that I love it. And, aesthetically as your living goes, I would say have something, not a plan B, but you have to have some form of sustaining, because there are no record deals. I mean, even as messed up as it was with the record deals because of how they are really formed and the way they operate. But the bottom line is the younger people I try to encourage, like, read Ryan Leslie's story, a young Harvard grad, super musically inclined, but got some finances together, started his own label, and actually sold, I believe, 80,000 records on his own. Now, so the average person, they'd be like, that's not a lot, but he's a 22-year college grad who put his own record out, hired his own marketing person, his own publicity department, hired his own national radio guy, and made a run for it and got his name out there. Now, he's not a household name yet, but he grossed $1 million in record sales. For
Wow.
a 22, 23-year-old kid, that's definitely a start, a big start. And I think that his story will grow. I know he's writing for people also. So it'll open up other doors. But I just believe the ownership gives you an opportunity to exude the integrity in your music and who you are as a person for a longer, more consistent thing. I think often than not, money becomes a factor in us falling on a sword. And, you know, I remember when I first got started, they offered me $50,000 to put on Bobby Brown's pants to wear the, you know, the Gumby and the Bobby. And I can't dance like Bobby. That's not my swag. Nothing against Bob. Bob is incredible. But I was like, I can't do that. That's not me. But they're like, but that's what's happening because, like you said, they're just looking for the next Coke. Like if Coke is hot, they're like, all right, we got to have Coke or Pepsi. We don't believe that Powerade will jump off. But Powerade believed in Powerade, and 7 years later they jumped off. Yep. And the funny thing is now you got Coca-Cola's corporation buying Powerade for millions of dollars because they had the belief to believe in their own stuff.
It's real. That's real.
You know, people look at Shark Tank. So own your stuff. Look at Shark Tank. Look at Damon John's story. Kid who was selling T-shirts on the corner in Queens who believed in what he was doing, didn't sell himself short, and basically now he's investing in other people's dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And good luck. Congratulations.
How about that, man? At the end of all days, man, you got see the thing about and Chris, I'm pretty sure you know as we get ready to wrap this up with Christopher Williams on Nexxlegacy Radio that I mean you have a fan base that spans not just when you first started, but even afterwards. You got kids that wasn't even born yet, and they still listen to your music like it was just laced out yesterday. You know what I mean? Like a lot of your classics. You know, and I'll close by saying I said this to start the show that you know me and you go way back. I still got changes on tape, man. That's how that's how close it still is, Chris. Like, and I ain't giving that shit up for nothing, man. I'm telling you, I'm at a point, Chris, where I'm like, hey, even all my classic tapes, I'm still keeping. I don't care how much they worth. That is valuable to me, man. It's valuable to me, so I'm keeping it.
I'm the same way. It's funny how music is like. It's the chapter to all of our lives, man. I mean, it just certain songs just take you back to a place that'll take you where you and your grandmother, you and whatever that special or the way that where your journey went. Music, you know, like when I hear even corny, like even songs that I didn't even like. I remember listening to the Osmonds every morning, waking up for school on WABC radio. One bad apple once, but I'd be like, Mom, turn that off. I'm getting up. Turn it off. I'm getting up. It's cold. My feet are cold. Please turn that off. He's not Michael Jackson.
Straight up, man. And it's funny how a music journey that'll take you to a certain spot, but it's just like, you know, songs that will withstand the test of time. You got a lot of those. You got a lot that's coming out, and I'm looking forward to being able to do it old school and break the record when it's new. I know you got something coming out now. Is it coming this year, or you got something that you're working on this project for 2014, 2015?
The gospel record, the singles in October, is called Champion.
Okay.
Produced by Stan Jones, Grammy-nominated, Grammy winner. It's done Brian Courtney Wilson, Marvin Sapp, Mississippi Mass Choir, the Williams Brothers. He's a young, gifted guy in the gospel world, surging like Leslie said, like a phoenix. And that I'm excited about that. And then I'm excited about my record. I've worked with some amazing young people and let them fuse into my life and bring forth the new and best Christopher Williams for now time. And we just believe it's going to be a good ride, man. Like I said, I really thought people would desecrate us letting the single just leak out like that off of Housewives, but I felt like, you know, we were on the show, and I was like, let's just let them leak it, see what happens. So it was a good response. It wasn't everything we wanted, but it was positive, and we're looking forward to this next record. We're going to shoot some visuals, new images, which are on Facebook, which are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter today. I actually put a sneak peek of some of the new images I just did. I just did a photo shoot in Jackson, Mississippi with Will Sterling, who shot everyone from Boris Kojo, everyone. Just an amazing brother. So And he
Perfect.
also just did some still photography for the new James Brown movie that's coming out. So just to give him a shameless plug, my boy
No,
Will
it's all good.
Check him out.
Hey, that's all support right there, though. And then make sure y'all follow Christopher Williams on Twitter, too, at RealMenSingCW. And make sure y'all do it now. Like, continue to push this man's movement. Instagram, Christopher Williams _BX. And, hey, it'll be an honor if I can break that new record and do it old school in a way where it's just like, hey, I appreciate if somebody gives me songs, but I'd rather do it old school like the DJs used to do and just go buy the records and spin. You know what I mean? That's how, to me, I think it's authentic that way, and not only that, it shows support for the artist, not only that you're interviewing, but also that you're continuing to support. And if I've been a fan back then, I'm a fan now, and I will continue to be a fan. And before I actually let you go, I mean, I seen the picture with the, with you on the bike, man. Are you big on motorcycles or?
Love them.
Okay.
My new pictures I just bought some black bike shoes with the graphite spikes on them, and I took a picture in that in this new leather motorcycle joint I got from his new design in New York. So it's actually one of my new pictures, one of my new images that are definitely going to surface is all motorcycled up.
All right. That's what's up. Hey, man, I'm proud of you, Chris. I'm proud of you. Not just back then, but still now. I'm glad you still got that passion. I'm glad you still talking like, you know what I'm saying, you never going to stop. And, as a fan first and as somebody that's down to support you on a media tip, it's good to be able to see a humble dude continuing his journey. And I couldn't be no more prouder, man. Couldn't be more prouder.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to continue to support you, man, and I hope we don't stalk you too much, me and Lamont, when we physically get this record ready for August, because we're going to be like...
Man, come on. Hey, your team is so damn cool, man. Like, hey, whatever I could do on the long... Hey, you know how, like, Denaya in Chicago and, Aaron and everybody else in all these different states want to see you perform in different states. Man, you got to come back to the Bay Area, man. That's where I'm at, so... you got to come hang out.
I'm coming for Labor Day. I'm doing a festival for the radio station out there with Karen White. And I think they bring back Club Nouveau too. So I'm not going to say the station, but
you can say it. You can say it. It's probably a family member.
I think it's KDEE. But what I'll do is I'll get the exact information and the exact date. It's September 6th in Sacramento. Well, it's not Oakland. It's in the
Actually, and that's Karen White's. That's her neck of the woods too, and Club Nouveau for that matter too. So yeah.
So my bad. I'm sorry. I thought it was the day. I'm reading the information now as we're speaking. It's actually Sacramento, September 6th. But anybody in the area who can get out, come up, or feels like taking a little ride or something, I know it's not that far, and we'd love to have you. So, but I definitely got to get back to Yoshi's in the Bay, and we're setting that up now. So I'll be out in the Bay Area definitely around Labor Day.
All right, that's what's up, man. Just make sure, and I got your math and your peoples, and let's stay connected, man, and stay on that blessed path, man. I'm proud of you, for real.
I will, man. I just want to give a big shout to my Team CW, and all the supporters and stuff out there, virally and internationally. Big shout to Jay King in the Bay Area. Big shout to Terry Haskins, my marketing person, and my viral dude, my cousin, Ty Boogie, which he's probably more famous than I am now. So big shout to Ty Boogie.
Appreciate it, Chris, man. Props up top. I'll be in touch with you, man.
Peace, man.
All right, now.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.